Nnamdi Kanu should be executed. That is the push. As I speak, the southeast of Nigeria is not in a good form and shape, particularly Igbos and IPOB members and those who are Nnamdi Kanu's loyalists. A court sentenced Nnamdi Kanu to life imprisonment, even though execution is what was being requested for. Ladies and gentlemen, be prepared for this one. Like, share, tap on the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. Returning subscribers and those that have been here, say a very big thank you to you, and to those that have tapped on the thanks button, the one with the love icon, $sign in the middle of it. May God bless you. May God replenish your pockets. Let us jump right into this one. Hell is about to break loose.
They will forever live in infamy. Today is the only day I have witnessed a man being convicted for mere buffering, for what he said from his mouth, not what he did with his own hands. The verdict is not consistent with the evidence laid before the court. The sentence is overbroad, cruel, and unusual. How can you convict a man for making mere broadcasts from a location that was never named, and he never tied that broadcast to any single incident of violence, or even someone slapping someone, not to talk of terrorism? He did all this. He didn't lay any evidence. I don't know where this whole verdict can be grounded in law, logic, or facts. We disagree with the judgment vehemently, and we are going to fight it from here onwards until justice is done. Politics is based on some tribal, primordial sentiments. Just because Nnamdi Kanu is Igbo. An Igbo man has become the person in Nigeria that should be trampled upon. I'm not saying this because I'm Igbo. I'll say it for the House of Yoruba who gets trampled upon. But today we saw an Igbo man being trampled upon, and by God Almighty, we are not going to allow it. Nobody is going to trample on me. Nobody is going to trample on Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu is not a terrorist. He's a man that was pursuing change. To pursue a separate nation of yours is not a crime. So in Nigeria today, if somebody says don't be silly, you get convicted. Nnamdi Kanu may broadcast, and so what? And you convict him for terrorism for mere words in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. What kind of precedent is being laid? So from here, we are heading to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal is the only court in this country, or the next court in this country, that sits as a jury. We are going to approach justices there to check out what happened in court today. And we are pretty sure the justices will agree with us that today was the symbol of the travesty of justice that everybody has been suspecting all along. If the Court of Appeal disagrees with us, we head to the Supreme Court. But by God Almighty, Nnamdi Kanu is not going to stand convicted. He's going to get overturned. Thank you.
First of all, I want to talk to the Igbos that nobody should take laws into your hand. I'm assuring you, this judgment is predicated on anger. Thank God that the judgment was streamed live and everybody watched it. You will see the anger in delivering the judgment. And it's not predicated on law. Now, I also want to let you know that this charge, that the investigation that gave rise to this charge was not investigated, because Nnamdi Kanu's statement, purported statement, was rejected by this court. And they did not tender any document as investigation report. That is to say, the investigation was not, the offense was not investigated. Having said that, also something that happened in court today, Nnamdi Kanu filed a matter in Court of Appeal. And he's asking, my lord, that particular matter I filed in Court of Appeal anchored on this particular issue. Please, can you just suspend this judgment? Let Court of Appeal direct what to do. My lord refused. Now, on the issue of anger, you journalists will bear with Nnamdi Kanu Nigerian government and the judiciary are not fair to Nnamdi Kanu. What do I mean? Nnamdi Kanu was given judgment by Court of Appeal. Federal government refused to comply with that judgment given by Court of Appeal until after 8 days before they appeal against it. When we get to the Supreme Court directed the prosecution what to do. Amend this particular charge. Nnamdi Kanu was saying that, please, can you amend this charge? They refused. With the combined effect of all this, I'm assuring you that this judgment will not stand. And the Court of Appeal will do justice to it. Now, I also want to plead with Judiciary. Nnamdi Kanu is representing himself because the court has given the prosecution a blanket order to detain Nnamdi Kanu wherever they want. They should detain Nnamdi Kanu where we have access to file his appeal, because he has 90 days to file his appeal. And the judge said that the judgment will be ready in the next 15 minutes. I also enjoy the media. We have the record of proceedings from the day the matter came to this till today. I want you to check the record of proceedings and evidence standard, reconcile it with the judgment. Now you will now see what we are talking about. You are bringing British into this matter, bringing America into this matter. You are now trying to so that the British and America will be against Nnamdi Kanu, something that was not an issue, that was never tendered, that was never given evidence on, and they are raising the issue. So this is a judgment against the Igbos. This is a judgment against the good people of Southeast, and it's because of Nnamdi Kanu is an Igbo. You cannot give this kind of judgment to a northern. You cannot give it to a southwestern. You cannot give it to another tribe in Nigeria apart from the Igbos. And we are going to start against it because it has happened in this country against some other persons, including Abiola. The Igbos join hands together to fight against it. Why should we be our own time and everybody's sitting at table? It's unfair.
We started this trial. I refrained from speaking to you as pressman because the profession does not allow me to discuss with you what happened in our West of the court. The profession does not allow me to tell people what happened in court. But today, we have come to a final end.
This guy, your head inside now. Bend down small.
And therefore, Nigerians
his head is entering now. Inside the show.
I one way or the other appreciate the judiciary. You remember just last Monday the president was saying at any time when Nigeria is in big trouble or big the judiciary has always come to the aid to salvage Nigeria. Again, the judiciary has salvaged Nigeria from the clause from oppression of the prescribed IPOB. The court has also pronounced death sentence on Eastern Security Network, which was the military wing of IPOB. Today, God has brought an end to injustice, oppression, suffered by our brothers and sisters from the eastern states of Nigeria. They will now be able to sleep with their two eyes closed. What is important is that every Nigerian must consider issue of security as his personal business. When you look away, when you compromise, or when you show fear, you are encouraging the miscreants, the vandals, the criminals, the terrorists to fester. This issue ought not to have festered for that long. Nigeria is our own country. We have no other country we can call our own. Secondly, it is our responsibility as Nigerians to help the government by way of information. You had during the trial information concerning how several heads of human beings were used to bury somebody who is a criminal. So just because people are afraid, we all must be courageous enough to confront terrorism, criminality, and all sort of things. I know that, political insinuations or perspective will be put to this matter. I was in court in there when somebody was saying, oh, Yoruba, oh, Hausa, oh, Igbo. We are all Nigerians. We must love one another. We must not compromise the the security of the country on the basis of those primordial sentiments. So I congratulate Nigeria today for seeing the end of this, and let it be a warning to those who may think they are bigger than Nigeria. Nigeria is bigger than every one of.
Welcome back. You heard what the legal representative of Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, said. Today marks one of the terrible moments of injustice in Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu has been sentenced to life imprisonment. And to some people, this could result into serious unrest in the southeast of Nigeria, which is counterproductive. It will truncate growth in the east, and the worst of it is that majority who are kinsmen of Nnamdi Kanu, tribesmen of Nnamdi Kanu, relatives of Nnamdi Kanu will be caught in between this. What I mean is that lives will be lost. When sit-at-home started, according to the report and what we saw, lives were lost. The talk is that Simon Ekpa is behind this. They said he's the one stoking up fire of unrest in the southeast of Nigeria. Of course, we have people who are loyalists of Nnamdi Kanu too. Nnamdi Kanu did say, and he said, I don't send nobody to unalive anybody. But he advised, he said, my release will further bring tranquility, peace to the southeast of Nigeria. The Nigerian government and certain persons who are from the tribe of Nnamdi Kanu did not, and they do not want to have, neither are they interested to hear any of such. To them, they have power, and that power that they wield is what has been used on Nnamdi Kanu. He has been sentenced. He has been sentenced to life imprisonment as a terrorist. What will happen in the southeast of Nigeria? What will happen in the southeast of Nigeria? That is the question on the minds of a lot of people. They are worried. They do not know what will become of their lives. Will some loyalists or certain persons who are miscreants, will they take advantage of this and heighten kidnapping, unrest, organ harvesting in the southeast of Nigeria? It is so sad. What is the way forward? From the look of things, now that Nnamdi Kanu has been sentenced, and what politicians in the southeast are looking at is their no re-election and all of that. The only thing that can set Nnamdi Kanu free is a presidential pardon. Yeah. That is what can set him free. And from the look of things, I don't know if that will come at the end of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's tenure. I do not know. I don't know if a Southeast president will be willing and ready for this. Let us look at Soludo. If Soludo becomes president of Nigeria, will Soludo offer a presidential pardon to Nnamdi Kanu? We are talking about 2031. We are talking about more years. That is, if Nnamdi Kanu is able to survive. This brings me back to Nwazurike. You know, Nnamdi Kanu used to be a member of MASOB. MASOB, a movement that Nwazurike headed. Nwazurike wanted to take over from Ojukwu. In fact, Ojukwu handed the baton to Nwazurike. But what I observed is that Ojukwu himself could not, you know, the APGA and the whole thing. I looked at it. Ojukwu could not. He could not. He could not even make it in politics because his own people they refused to vote for him. He failed primaries. Even the wife, Bianca, failed primaries. Back then, Bianca Ojukwu attacked, that's 7 years ago. He attacked that guy. He said, strangers have hijacked. Our ballot boxes are being stolen, taken. Woo! Same Southeasterners. Anyway, let us look at when Ojukwu wanted to be president. Former Biafra leader. He wanted to be president. The party, APGA, was supposed to be the vehicle to take Ojukwu to that space. The question is, did 99% of Southeasterners vote? A big, huge question. So the thing is, every time you, as an individual, take up your voting card and go to the ballot box in the southeast of Nigeria, you are simply saying, I want to be one Nigeria. Nnamdi Kanu left Nassau. He had issues with Uwazurike. Uwazurike prior had also been arrested. He had gone in and out like several times. Nnamdi Kanu felt he could do it better. He felt he has the extra to get this done. Uwazurike laughed and said, okay, no problem. Of course, Uwazurike was not happy. He said, Ojukwu handed it over to me. You should stay under it and let's work together. But since you have chosen IPOB, it's fine. The rest of the story is what we are seeing unfolding right in front of us. Nnamdi Kanu said, I will, and I will survive it, I will succeed. But, you know, Nnamdi Kanu said that Uwazurike, you are a traitor, you got into it, and then you betrayed Biafras, you betrayed Igbos, you did this, you did that. You accepted and agreed to the terms and conditions of the federal government just for you to have your freedom. I am ready to go all the way. People have said the mistake Nnamdi Kanu made was him leaving that space of comfort, somehow finding himself where he wasn't supposed to be, Kenya. How they manipulated him to get to Kenya is a story for another day. But as it is, it's going to be difficult. I hope Nnamdi Kanu does not pass away in prison. Yes, and I also hope that certain persons, individual, will not take advantage of this present situation of things to cause havoc, unaliving people in the southeast of Nigeria, unaliving innocent people, unaliving their kinsmen in the southeast of Nigeria. Because from the look of things, that could be the next. That could be the next. You see some miseducated, you see some ignorant people using the sentencing of Nnamdi Kanu to kill, to steal, and to destroy. And this is not the way forward. I hope this does not happen. I hope it will not come to the mind or minds of certain individual to commit crime against themselves as people. I don't know what your thoughts are, ladies and gentlemen, about this ongoing. It is the worst of its kind. People are so upset, so angry. They just do not know where else to turn to. The hope was so high. How do we get Nnamdi Kanu out of custody? And that has been the hope. The hope was so high. Nnamdi Kanu defending himself was, to a lot of people, an opportunity for him to get out of the shackles that he has been forced to be in. But unfortunately, it didn't turn out to be. He has been sentenced to life imprisonment. Like I said, the only opportunity to get out of this is a presidential pardon. Will he get it? And when? So sad. I don't know what your thoughts are about this. I don't know what you think. It's really getting on the nerves of a lot of people. They are not happy at all. This was never ever the expectation of those who are loyalists of Nnamdi Kanu. It was never the expectation, but it is what it is. To a lot of people, this is injustice, whilst to some, this is the way to go. Drop your comments, ladies and gentlemen.